Section 2.2, compare numbers, decimals, and fractions. Numbers can be compared by using a number line. So a number line here has equally spaced marks, and we're talking about these, right? So sometimes when we draw them real crooked, and they're not equal. They should be, as best as you can. The arrows to the right and to the left show that the numbers continue indefinitely. So here we have our number line, we have a 0 in the middle, to the left of the 0 is the negative numbers, and to the right of the 0 is positive numbers. I'm sure you're familiar with this number line. If not, it'll be very useful in this section. For any two numbers graphed on a number line, the number to the right is greater than the number to the left. Also, the symbols less than and greater than are called inequality symbols. So together, these two are called inequality symbols. The inequality symbol, greater than, means it's greater than, right? So we have these two symbols here. This is greater than. And then we have less than. It's less than. So here we have some examples, and this is what we're going to be doing in this section. We're going to go ahead and graph, and then we'll compare. It says, for example, -5 and -2 are graphed here for you. So we have -5, and I have -2. It's graphed for me. On the graph, -5 is to the left of -2. So -5, see how we're looking at to the left. So here's -2, and this is to the left. So the -5 is less than the -2, right? Because it's to the left. So we can write this, and this is really important here. This is what we're going to be doing in this section. So we can write this as -5 is less than -2. I often find that students get a little confused with the symbols. So I'm going to give you a silly example. If you need it, take it. If you don't need it, don't take it. So we have this guy here, and I like to think of it as a crocodile. This crocodile will have its mouth open towards anything it wants to eat, right? And it's always going to eat the most of something. So for example, over here we have 2 things. Over here has to be a bigger number. It has to be 3 things. So think of this as the opening of a mouth, and it's always going to eat the bigger things. So I can read this as 3 is larger, and it seems a little backwards, right? Is larger than 2. A different way of this being read is from left to right, and then you can say 2 is smaller than 3. Both of these statements are exactly the same, and it's just the way that makes sense to you. Do you like 3 is larger than 2, or do you like 2 is smaller than 3? Ultimately, they're the same. Let's take a look at our first example. It says graph, -5, -4, 4, and -2 on the number line. So let me remind you, I usually kind of look at this 0, and then I go, if it's a negative, like in this case, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is -5, -4, +4, it's gonna be to the right, and -2. So I graphed all my numbers, and now we're able to compare. So it says insert less than or greater than between each pair of numbers to make a true statement. This is very important. Okay, so now you can either compare this on your own if you're confident, or you can look back at the number line to see if you need help. So for example, -5, these two here, I'm looking at these. -5 is on the left, and this one's on the right. Therefore, by our rule, right, our rule says that this one is bigger because it's on the right. If you're seeing what rule, this rule right here, it says on the graph, right? So we have that rule there. Okay, let's do the other one. -4, -5. So we're comparing the same numbers, right? Take a look. So this one's on the left. This one's on the right. That means the -4 is bigger. So this time, it's the same numbers, but since they're in a different order, -4 is the one that gets the opening, right? Well, it did an A as well, but it was facing a different way. How about 4, -2? Well, this one seems almost super obvious. This one's on the right, and this one's on the left. Therefore, 4 is bigger than -2, and we know it's bigger. If you're taking my crocodile, the crocodile mouse is eating the 4. Great, I hope you're feeling confident. Let's go on to a little bit of fractions. So we have graph -4, -9/2, 1/3, 2, and -1/2. So I always kind of look at that 0 and then determine my left side. So here's -4, -9/2. I can divide this. What can I do? I can bring up my calculator if I don't know what to picture in this case. So let's bring out my calculator. And we have 9 divided by 2. Now notice I didn't put in my negative. This is kind of almost a habit of mine because I know the negative's there and I have to put it in. So this is 4.5. This is -4.5. If I had put in the negative, it would say -4.5. Okay, so we're at negative, and I gotta keep going a little bit, right? -4.5, right in the middle of 4 and 5. How about 1/3? 1/3 is gonna be the next one. This one's gonna be positive. This one's approximately 0.3. Okay, let's take a look at my number line. 0.5 would be here in the middle. So 0.3 has to be less than that. So it has to be to the left of that. So I'm going to go with 0.3 here, right? Sometimes I see you all write it all crazy, and you have to make sure that your number is making sense. So this one for me here is 0.3. Then we have 2 and -1/2. So I want you to go through this comparison because you have the number line to help you. Take a look at what's to the left will be smaller than what's to the right.